everyone who is a Tesla shareholder knows there's one big question that is hanging over the stock like the sword of Damocles or whatever, the opposite of it, the pull-up rope. That also sounds bad. The thing that can lift the stock to the moon, which is Robotaxi, that is hanging over the stock. Because if it doesn't do it, it's also very bad for the stock. And that's why we are seeing this endless, 390, 410, 420, 400, 390, 385, whatever. And the stock doesn't go anywhere because we are not scaling and we are all waiting for Cybercab being deployed. Now we have some news, July 15th. So America reported, but many others too, Texas Autonomous Vehicle Tracker. Texas actually saw a significant increase. 58, that's a lot. 58 cars added overnight. Okay, isn't that interesting? So we saw July 15th, like the tracker, 58 robotaxis added. That's the biggest chunk we've ever seen. And does that mean anything? Are we going somewhere? I wrote a little post when we had this discussion here on X with all kinds of followers. And I want to give you my summary, my take on the situation, because we all know it's all decisive what we actually do now. And here's the thing. This is in response to someone saying, the point is that Tesla say-do ratio has been maybe 10% lately, says B. That's not good for any corporation. Most corporations have internal stretch goals they don't tell the public about. Elon takes the view to broadcast the extreme stretch goals and then not explain the miss. And I pushed back a little bit. I said, I don't mind the Optimus and Robotaxi misses. Both are obvious problems. They are frontier innovations, okay? And you simply cannot put an exact timeline on it. We all kind of knew that. We all knew 1 year ago in June 2025 that you don't know if this thing scales or when this thing scales. We expected it to scale and it scaled, but very slowly. Did we exactly know when this is going to happen? No. Did we know that Tesla cannot know that? I knew it. I told everyone we don't know that. All we can do is place bets, reasonable triangulated bets. So let's continue. I say also Elon hasn't provided any firm targets over the last 12 months other than the silly 50% of US population covered by December 2025. That was his only little hiccup where he did what he shouldn't do because he absolutely knew that he doesn't know. But he was, it was wishful thinking by Elon. And he learned at this point to not say that, and that was the one exception. But it was obviously bogus. I knew. I was on Herbert or whatever, or on my channel. I said, dudes, I don't buy it. Maybe he means that, but I would definitely not bet on it. The facts are, there is continuous and visible progress. Okay, fact number one, we see constant progress. There is not a week going by where we don't see more deployed, we don't see something happening, a new version coming out. So progress is here, it's visible. Not the progress we like to see, not scaling into real commercial operations, but progress. Number two, Cybercab is ramping and parking lots across the nation are continuously filled with these things. And that is something we report on all the time. The whole community finds these things and reports on. We know that Cybercab is filling up everywhere in Houston and Dallas and all over the place. And if you want proof, you see it here. Now, this is, for example, in New York. Now it's in New York. Okay, it's in New York. Here, the latest, July 10th, Robotaxi Hub in Houston now has over 100 Cybercabs. They are being filled out all over the place. So this is, just think about it. I know everyone is very frustrated, but think about that. If I had told you in January or February, or maybe March, before Cybercab went into production, that we would sit here July 16th and see that in Houston. Just think about it. And I would show you there's 100 Cybercabs in Houston. There's 100 Cybercabs in Dallas. There are now Cybercabs siding and parked in New York. There are Cybercabs in the Bay Area. You would be very excited. Now you would be very disappointed that they're not being used, But why would they park all these cyber caps there? Because Tesla is anticipating something. So that is very, very clear. Okay, so back to my post. Number 3, we know that FSD has to be fine-tuned. It's not there yet. I said it again and again. FSD, of course, is not ready in the sense that right now you cannot scale. Okay. Number 4, we don't know when it reaches critical capability. I said it again and again and again in all the discussions. I had discussions with Larry Goldberg. I had discussions with CERN. I had discussions with Herbert. I had discussions with Peggy. And I always said, this is not ready. Not in the sense that strategically not ready, but in the sense it is just not ready right now. And nothing else matters. Forget about regulatory. That's a joke. It's not a problem. Hey, on this channel, we do something very important. We deeply analyze, understand, and predict capital, AGI, and politics. Not just to beat the markets and make a lot of money, even though that's important, but also to build a new society and make the future good for all of us, the pioneers. If you want to help me on this journey, you can do that by doing a very simple thing. Like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the video. Forget about infrastructure. It's a joke. It's not a problem. This is all trivial stuff. The one thing that's not trivial is FSD has to work, and right now it's not ready. Now, number 5, very important. Number 2, the cyber cap ramping tells us that Tesla thinks number 4, okay, when FSD is ready, the point in time when FSD is ready. Number 2, the fact that cyber cap scales tells us that Tesla internally, the executives, the team, the finance team, the operations team, I won't name Elon, but the team, Lars and everyone, they believe that 4 is being reached soon, anytime in the second half of 2026. So here it becomes very relevant what I'm saying. My thesis is very clear that from Tesla's actions, from the fact that they are scaling CyberCap and deploying this everywhere, we can deduce very clearly, when you think about it, that Tesla is of the firm belief and is willing to bet a lot of CapEx money and capital on it, that Tesla will reach number 4, the inflection point of FSD, where they can scale very soon. Now, what does that mean? I thought it's June. I was wrong. But when you draw the trajectory of CyberCap, it is clear that Tesla believes it's happening in H2. It is clear that they see the light at the end of the tunnel, that they understand. They just have to fix a bunch of stuff. I don't know what, but they have to fix a bunch of more stuff on FSD, but they know exactly what to fix. They have clear projections when they fix it, and these projections fall into the next 6 months. I'm extremely certain about that they think that, at least. Number 6, caveat, Tesla can't be sure about that, so it's a triangulation backed by a hard CapEx bet. So, of course, Tesla could be wrong, but they're betting a lot of money on it because they ramped up CyberCap, they built out the entire thing, and now they're producing it. So it would be a severe financial planning mistake of Tesla if they would not launch at scale this half of the year. Now that can happen, they can make mistakes, but they never did. In the history of Tesla's company, in the history of Tesla operating, they never made a mistake like this, okay? Elon said a lot of things that were not true or were late and blah, 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 but Tesla, the corporation, never made a major financial bet that went wrong. Never. Because the team is one of the best teams in the world of doing operations and finance. And the fact that operations and finance is now pulling the trigger on CyberCap makes a failure very unlikely. And we can be sure that they think at least it's happening now. And with now, I mean in 2026. We all know FSD is nearly there and it's inevitable, okay? That is the situation with Robotaxi. That's my reasoning. From that reasoning, we can place informed bets like I did on June being the month where we scale. Okay, I placed a major bet on June. This bet was wrong and I lost the amount of money I implicitly bet on it. It's a little hard to figure that out because It's basically a risk on trade I did that didn't work out, so I got punished for it. That's life. And we can make these bets. It was a good bet. I don't regret it. That's not how it works. It was the right bet to make. It went wrong. That doesn't mean it was the wrong bet, by the way, if you understand risk. I put a certain probability on it. I'm pretty sure I was right on the probability, right? You place it's like, oh, here's $10,000. I can win 50,000 with a 20% probability. Would I take this bet? Of course. So, or 30%, whatever. So would I take this bet? Of course. When I lose, I would have said, well, it's more likely that I lose than not. It was still a good bet. Do you understand that? So I was willing to make the bet. It was a good bet. I lost the bet. I lost some money. And I will keep placing bets because ultimately it paid off for me so far to work like that. So my next bet is a little more cautious because the fact that we are not scaling in June means my timing capability is not as good as I thought, but I still have an extremely high conviction it's going to happen in the second half of this year, and it could happen anytime now. Okay, so I'm placing a bet, but with more risk mitigation for timing. And if that bet pays off, I will make much more money than I lost here. Okay, if this bet also fails, then we are slowly getting into a problem in terms of alpha. Okay, that is exactly how I see it. And it's very important. This is a very important sentence for most of you, maybe. You don't have to place these bets. You can just buy Tesla and wait. And then the probability of winning is extremely high. These bets are just greedy little bets where you can make more money. But you have more stress. You lose money. When they go wrong, you need to keep betting because this is all about betting average. Betting average, not betting average. But it's the same thing here. Okay, so would you take a bet where you get 20 times your money, you have a 10% chance of winning? Yes, you take that bet. Do you have a 90% chance of losing your money? Yes. What does that mean? You have to take a lot of these bets and you will make a lot of money. That's how it works. Okay, you just have to be right on the probabilities, and I am right on my probability. This is going to happen. It's going to happen very soon. I was wrong on June. I'm exponentially more likely to be right on the next 6 months. And every dummy out there who thinks I'm wrong because I lost and I was wrong on the specific bet doesn't understand probabilities and how it works. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. You can look it up on X. Here is the exact reasoning why I think we are actually on a very good track and why it's important to take sometimes a step back and understand Tesla keeps rolling this thing out and nothing can stop the inevitable wave of autonomous transport, and nothing can stop the fact that this wave is much closer now than it ever was. So I hope that was interesting and see you very soon.